I better get busy, try to imitate Jesus. He says He's in me, right? It makes all the difference in the world. Whether you think He's off somewhere far away and you're trying to be like Him, or whether, like Paul, see, the real heart of the message of Christianity is not He's off somewhere far away and we're trying to act like Him, is that He's here in me. Does He not say that? Did I not read that right? Yeah. And not only, it's not just Paul that Christ lives in, it's all believers. I've read some people who say, well, this is a high plateau of spirituality. Only a few people get up to this, as though everything's just a work, that we're climbing up this mountain trying to get to Galatians 2:20. No, this is just the plain common fact for every believer, whether we know it or not. But it's here in the Bible so that we will know it. What's the benefit of knowing it? Because it changes our thinking and gives us rest. Jesus wanted us to have rest, or else He wouldn't have said, come to me, you that labor and are heavy laden, and I'll give you rest. He wants us to have that kind of attitude of internal trusting in Him instead of trying to do it ourselves. You know, if you think it's up to you to crucify the old flesh, no wonder that guy was moaning. I think I've read this to you before, but I don't want to miss a chance to read this again. Somebody might watch this on YouTube. I found this, this is a news story. And you probably, if you remember, if you've been here very much, you've heard me read this before. This is an actual news story. I didn't make this up. This is not just preacher stories here. This is a real story I got off Fox News, off the internet. And here's the headline. Man treated after attempting to nail himself to cross. This is true. This guy did this. It says, and I'm not sure what state this is in. Maybe it'll become evident here. It says, a Heartland man was treated at a Pittsfield hospital after he nailed himself to a cross. The 23-year-old man apparently was trying to commit suicide Thursday evening in his living room, the Bangor Daily News reported. Somerset County Sheriff Barry DeLong said Monday that no charges will be filed. There is no crime here. Police said the man appeared delusional, and he told them he had been seeing pictures of God on the computer. I hope it wasn't just somebody playing a trick on him. He told them he had not seen the movie Passion of the Christ, which depicts the crucifixion of Jesus. Lieutenant Pierre Boucher said the man took two pieces of wood, nailed them together in the form of a cross, and placed them on the floor. He attached a suicide sign to the wood and then proceeded to nail one of his hands to a makeshift cross using a 14-penny nail and a hammer. When he realized that he was unable to nail his other hand to the board, he called 911. Didn't think of that at first. He just... Well, it didn't become evident. He got one hand nailed down, the other one, how am I going to get this one nailed down? It was unclear whether the man was seeking assistance for his injury or help in nailing down his other hand. That's what it says here. Now, this is it's a sad but funny story, and I have to admit, it made me laugh when I read that. But see, it makes a good point. You can't do it yourself. If you think it's up to you to crucify yourself, just speaking practically, even if, like this man, he took it literally, even if he thought that was what was expected, you cannot do it. And here's why you can't do it. You can nail one hand down, but here's the other one still free. You can't do it. Jesus really basically said the same thing in the Sermon on the Mount. He said, if your right hand offends you, cut it off. And if your eye offends you, pluck it out. You know what he's really saying by that is, if you think it's up to you, and if you think you're going to do it, this is about how hard it's going to be. Now, I've been at this a long time. I've never met anybody yet missing a right hand. Hello, have you? I've never met anybody yet who's plucked out their eye. Well, evidently, nobody's really gotten serious about this thing yet, huh? You know what Jesus is really saying is, you can cut off both hands, cut off both legs, pluck out both eyes, and still sit there thinking about it. It goes deeper than what you can accomplish on your own. See, this man I just read to you about couldn't do it. He thought he was supposed to crucify himself. And metaphorically speaking, we can't do it either. Like that man who was he was moaning under the weight of, it's hard. Well, yeah, it's hard. It's too hard for you. That's why Jesus did it for you. That's why Paul says here, I am crucified with Christ. Notice he didn't say, I need to be, I bet I should be, I know I'm not, but I ought to be. Right? Right? He says, I am. Well, what are we supposed to do with that? You know, we should just take what he said and said, same for me.